Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Happy Friday. Today I'm going to be doing pack 7 of the award-winning Agora Models build of the Apache AH-64 Longbow helicopter. Check out this fuselage. It's a big box today, having this massive fuselage. Obviously this is all metal and I'm guessing we're going to be building onto this today. Now once again, when it comes to any of the artillery or the missiles or stuff like that, I'm going to put them in a drawer and I'm going to do them as a separate video because there's tons of them. There must be over 100 easily of all the military and decals we've got to put on them. I am going to be doing the expansion fuel vessel, whatever it's called today, but because that looks like a missile. It's not a missile, it holds fuel. So I learned that. I've been learning about AH-64 longbows, so this is an educational build for me. If you want to build this award-winning model, just check out the video description. There's also that QR code on the screen, but without further ado, let's get cracking. So we're going to get right into it by opening this fuselage up. So let's get into this and take out everything we've got in here. And this is what it's looking like. That is excellent. I do like how they've protected it by putting this in here as well to stop any warpage. It's going to open all of these tiny parts out as well. And if you can see all of these parts here, they are so tiny, I think I'm going to have to put my magnifying glasses on. Okay, so first section I'm going to put on looks just like this, and this is just going to be going on top here like that. It's going to be held in with a screw. That's a CM screw, just through the top here. Perfect. There we go, that was a good start. Now I need this section here, and if you have a look here, one of these posts is slightly taller, and my one is the one on this side. So I want the taller post, if I just turn this upside down, to be on this peg just down the bottom there. So put that on. Excellent. Once again, held in with 2 CM screws. Okay, with that in there like that, I can just put that to one side because I now need these tiny sections here, which have got a D-shaped pattern on the bottom. And the first one, 48N, they're calling this, is going into the D-shaped hole here. Now I haven't glued these in because they do hold themselves quite tight there. Put the other one just in the other side here. And that's perfect when they're both in. Now I need this detail looking just like this. This is actually going to be glued in. So I have put the tiniest amount of glue on here. It's just going into the one just by, well, let me get it in. I think that's the best thing. And show you how that looks just there. I am test fitting all of these parts, just so you know, because there are a lot of these look very similar. This one's going to go in here. And again, bit of glue on these. So that one's in. This one's going just above it. As you can see, there is one side longer than the other, so that can fit in. There you go, that looks pretty cool. And then if you look just at the back here, you've got this sort of round section here. I've got a detail to put in here. Now the pins are slightly different on this one. One is larger than the other one, so it dictates which way round this goes in. Just like that. Now, in the 2 holes here, I've got this detail here to go in. They're not telling me to glue it, so I'm guessing it's going to fit quite tight, which it does, as you can see. And in a similar way, just into the hole there, I've got this detail, which goes in just like that. Now in the little hole there, I've got the tiniest detail you've ever seen, which I'm trying to hold in my hands. Just going to put some glue just on the tab there. It's just going into the hole just here. Tweezers out just to make sure that that's sitting perfectly in there. Now, on this section just here, under what I've just put in, there's 2 little holes, which is going to house the lugs for this detail just here. Using my tweezers to help me get this one in. And there you go, that's how that looks. On the right hand side of the assembly, get my glue out again. I've got another handle, if you like. That's going into these two holes just here and here. Again, I'm holding a tiny handle here, just in my tweezers, so I can get some glue on this, because this one's just going into the point here. Perfect. Then I've got a lens to put in, which means just turning this over, and it's going to clip into the points just there. And it is going to need to be glued in, this one, so make sure you only glue the pegs, otherwise you're going to get frosting, because I am using super glue on this, onto this part. When you do put this in, it is sloped, so the larger end of the slope goes towards the, I said the front, but hang on a second, let me just get this back in. The larger end goes towards this side here. Now I can just put this whole thing to one side, and I'm going to be bringing over what we've been creating last time. I'm just trying to find a way that I can actually lie this down, because I've got a lot of details which I'm just moving out the way that I'm going to need to put just onto this bottom section here. Now they all get glued in, so just zoomed out my side camera just a touch. First one looks like this is going in here. Second one looks exactly the same, but about 50 times smaller. That's just going to go into the little place behind it. And they are directional, so there is a way around that's going to go. But that's in there. Behind that, I've got this little piece here. That one was trying to be difficult then. And then this tiny one here. Which goes in the very back. And when they're all in, they should look like that. Let's put that to one side just to dry. And be careful as you hold it, because it's going to need to not be on your surface now. And I've got two little more details, which I'm just going to put some glue just on the lug on this side here, because it's a D-shaped lug. And it's going to go into this base just here to create that piece like that. And then check this out, I've got one of these sanding sponges here, which means that when I bring this over, I can actually just put this back end here just on a sanding sponge like that, so it's not actually touching the bottom there. Now, before I put the next bit on, I'm just going to check the motor is still working. As you can see, it's working fine. The reason I wanted that to happen is because I'm about to hide the screw hole by putting this little detail we've just created in. So probably best on the top camera, I'm just going to be putting this above the screw here. And putting this into place here. And there you go. With that in, that's all there is to do in that stage. That was a little bit fiddly, wasn't it? Okay, let's get this open. So, as you can see, we've now got some missiles here, which I'm going to be putting to one side with the decals. We'll do all of those at the end. We've also got these sections here, which I've created before as well. Again, going to put these armaments, these artillery at the end. And that includes these parts here. And that leaves me with some glazing here and some extra parts now to put on that fuselage section. So first part I need is a bit of the glazing. Bringing over the fuselage here, and this is going to be pushed into the tabs here, here, and at the top. Just like that. Excellent. I've got a smaller window just going into the top here. Exactly the same way. I'll put the bottom one in first, and just push the top one in. Actually, other way around. Top in, then the bottom. Then I've got this longer window here. Same way, push the top in, then clip the bottom in. Nope, this one I think is the other way around. I think we've got to put the bottom in and then clip the top in. Yep, there we go. That's that one in. Then I've got this side window here, which goes in here. Again, I'll put the bottom in. Nope, I'll put the top in, which enables me to clip the bottom in. just like that, which leaves just the one on this side here. So all of that glazing on this side at the top has been put in place. I then have a wiper to put in. Looks like this. This goes in the front. Just going to hold that into place just while that glue sets. And then I've got another one here, a little bit of glue again, which is just going to be going on top. Just move that to one side and just bring over the last two parts just here. Now I've got two parts left, but I'm going to be adding something to this part that we had in stage 6, I believe. So 1 second. Oh, I had to dig that out. Look, there it is. That's the part there. We're just going to be pressing that into here. So that looks like that. I'll put some glue just around the edges here. Bring over this part of the helicopter because that's going to attach into these points just here. Just like that. The next detail to put it in again comes from stage 6, looking like this. Put some glue on the bottom here, and that's going to go on to the next one along just here. So now that's in like that. And then finally 6K, which looks like this again. Just going to put some glue just along the edges. Will just be fitting on this one here. They do have two different size lugs, so it can only go in one way. But there you go, that's those 3 in. Pray that you've saved all of those from stage 6. Now you should have another one of these from stage 6. Again, a bit of glue just in this section here. Because I'm going to be pressing this into the base that we get in this stage. And then this one is going to be going just here on the other side. So that's in just like that. And then finally, again, another part from stage 6. Just this detail here again, you've got to make sure you've got the lugs lined up, but that's in just there. So from the top, you can see how that looks. Excellent. Now, aside from making another one of those missiles, that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 50, we've got some Hellfire missiles to assemble, which again, I'm not going to do. I'm going to do that at the end, but there is a part here that I do need, namely this piece here. So I'm going to keep hold of that and put all the rest of this in my collection of armaments. Because what I'm going to do with this piece here is I've got two pipes that we had in stage 15. I'm going to want to glue these into this pipe. So put some glue just at the bottom here. With the L facing up, this one's going to go in here, just like that. They are shaped at the end, so they can only go in one way. And then the other one goes in just like that there. Now I need to bring over the left engine nacelle. And that looks just like this here. And I'm going to be putting what I've just created into the two holes I've got at the side here. So I am going to just drop some glue just into the side parts here and get this into position. That actually fit in pretty well there. And aside from the ornaments, which I haven't done, that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 51, we're going to start on the base. So we are moving away from the helicopter to do the base. Again, I've got some more parts for some ornaments there. This base part that I'm interested in first, because what I'm going to be doing is putting a bracket just into here, which looks like this. It's going to go in here just like that there. Now I'm securing that in with this EM screw, just like that. I'll save the other screw for a spare, but that is all there is to do in that stage. Now again, in stage 52, there is another missile to assemble here, which I did do previously again. These are the ones with these tiny details on. I think I did them in the last pack actually, but I'll save them to the end. But we are going to make the ski here. So for that reason, I'm just taking out this little wheel. And I also need this tiny, tiny pin in here. Put the wheel in between this section here. And I'm going to be dropping the pin in to keep it in place. This is going to be fiddly. Let's put the pin in just a little bit first. Then put the wheel in. That's perfect. And then just use my pliers here to push that together. Just like that. Excellent. Put that to one side and bring over the ski here. And I had a part which is going into the front of this ski in stage 44. Let me just dig that out. That looks just like this. And that's going to go into the top here like that there. Just clipping it in. Fits lovely in there. Now also in stage 44 we had a little detail to put in the front here. Let me try and find that. Now I have got it in this bag here. I'm trying to find it. It's a little bracket. Let me just get it out. It's tiny. That's going to just go in the front here like that. Oh, other way around. And it's held in with an FM screw just from the other side. You really need to save every single part of this build that you're not using. There we go. That's in there. And in the back here, this is where the wheel is going to go that we just created, just into here like this. And that's going to be held in with one of these OP screws here. These are really tiny. Just push that in there. Now we do have this pin left over. I'm going to put the pin safely in here because I don't want to throw anything away. I'm even keeping all the screws, making sure they're okay. Because that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 53, I'm going to be building that missile-looking fuel tank, which basically holds the excess fuel so it can fly longer and then jettison should need be. Got these parts here though for the other missiles, which I can keep till the end. It's these parts that I want to work on. And look, these have already got the metal for, well, are these magnetic? Yeah, they are. They're magnetic. The magnet's already in here for us. So what we're going to do, push these together. They are a tight fit, so I don't know if I'm going to need to glue them. I don't think so. So that's one in there. And then you have got a locating lug at the bottom here to put the other one in. Perfect. So that's looking just like this. And I've got a few decals to put on this now. And I will do these decals because they're on this sheet here. Let me get my scissors out and cut off the ones that I want. I've got a soft cloth. I'm just going to be putting these into some water. Now I'm only going to use water for this. I don't think I need microcell or microsol or anything like that because we are on kind of a flat surface. There's a slight curve, but the actual parts that we're putting these decals on, they're really not going to need anything too much more than water. So putting the one on the front here first. Just put a bit of water on the front. Don't have to keep this soaking in here, just so you know, because the paper on the back is going to keep that nice and wet. But I'm just going to be putting this front decal on here. Just like that. Shape it around and then blot it dry. Perfect. Next one, the one that says left strap location. That's going to go on this side here, just into there. Put the right hand side one on, just like that. Blot it dry. There we go. That's those decals in position. Okay, just going to create a holder for this. So, oops, just going to pat dry the top as well. This is going to go in here like that. And then we've just got this section going over the top. just like that. There we go. That's all created. That's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 54, we're doing exactly the same thing as we would have done in stage 53. So that's why I decided to bundle these things together, even to the point of doing the missiles again. So keeping them to one side, I'll just get this one done. And there we go. That's 53 and 54 completed. Now it does go on in that stage to tell you about some extra decals to put onto these missile sections here. Again, I'm going to do all of that at the end. So a real quick one for stage 55. Once again, we're going to be doing the another part of the base. Again, we do have these missile cases, which I'll leave to the end. But we are going to piece together the two that we've now created. So these two can now go together like this. I've saved that screw from last time, which was handy, because I get to screw these two parts in just like this. But it does leave another bracket, which we're going to have to keep safe. But that was really quick. That's all there is to do in that stage. So that leads to stage 56. Again, we've got another missile crate to create, which I'm going to leave to the end. There's so many armaments in this build. But we are doing another ski. So once again, we're going to be putting the tiny pin in here to create that wheel. And I'm saving this pin. We're not using that at the moment. So the pin's in there. Just push it in here with my pliers. That's going nowhere. I've got the other part, just like I've done with this one here, the ski, just to put in to the point there and push that in. Once again, I've got another one of them to put in. I'm just seeing where that is. That's in here. Get that out. It's in my little bag of tricks. Put that in here like that. And that's held in with an FM screw. And then I'm going to be putting this wheel in just onto the back here and securing it down with one of those really tiny screws. Perfect. So there we go. We've got two skis completed there. And that's all there is to do in that stage. So stage 57 is the last stage of this pack. It's been quite an epic pack. If you think of all the armaments that we'd have to create, no exception in this one. Look, there's even more in here. Look at that. Okay, put them to one side. So I'm going to be building the tail ski now. Everything I need, I believe, is in here. First thing to do is take the ski and the wheel, push this into the back. I'm going to be holding that in with the medium-sized pin that I've got here. Probably best is, again, to put the pin in a little way first, then put the wheel in. And then when you're happy with that, close that off. Now, all the other parts that we've got here, we need to save. I'm guessing we're going to add them later. So I'm going to make sure these tiny, tiny parts, even look at that, we've got a really tiny pin, are in this bag. They're going to go absolutely nowhere, including the hinges here. And looks like a shock, the ski itself, and I'm even going to be putting the screws in there as well. Keep that safe. If we've learned anything from this build, we need to keep absolutely everything in one place so we don't lose anything. But there you go. Now you can see why this is an award-winning build, because there's so much detail on it and there's so many armaments, artillery. But as you can see, this is looking pretty cool. We've added these details to the bottom there, and we are having to keep this now on a sponge because it's quite delicate. I'm going to have to try and find a place in the workshop to keep that. Obviously, the main thing for this build, though, was we've now got the fuselage here now. Do I try and put it on just to see what it looks like? I think everyone's actually had to try this once, haven't they? So hang on a second. Let me gently put that down just to give you an idea of how that looks. Everyone's done that who's done this stage. I had to do it, didn't I? So, but there you go. That's how that's looking. Let me just gently put that back on the sponge. That's probably the way to store it, actually, because there, it makes sure that I'm being very gentle with it. There's so many bits that could break off of that, and I don't want that to happen. But I really hope you like that video. Remember, if you do want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description, and there's also that QR code on the screen. But other than that, take care.